the winner of the popular vote doesn't win the election. The winner of the electoral vote wins the election. What is the electoral vote? Can you just explain it to us, to ordinary viewer here?
Yes, I won't go into too much detail except to say when the founders of the United States established the Electoral College back in 1789, there was no popular vote. We didn't have elections except through the Electoral College. Now, who were they? They were the elites of each of the American states. And they didn't meet together, but they met in their respective state capitals, and they picked candidates that they felt were appropriate to the presidency and the vice presidency.
I think it was called the smoke-filled backrooms in the 1960s.
Yes. And they all smoked back in 1789. I think by the 1960s, some were catching on that smoking was bad for you. But nonetheless, it's not a system that works very well, but it will stay in place because in America, we're too divided to change anything. Seriously, we cannot pass a constitutional amendment to celebrate mothers.
That's true. But, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu said that. He says, I always lose in the elections in the polls, but then I win in the final election day. Is that fair to say about Trump also?
Well, he did lose in 2020, and of course he made up this giant story to cover his wounded ego about voter fraud. That's my field, and I'm here to tell you there was no voter fraud. He made it up. But of course his base believes anything he says, and so they still talk about the voter fraud. There was no voter fraud. So he did lose in 2020. He lost the popular vote as well in 2016, but he won the all-important Electoral College. Now, this time around, it is very close. I don't think he'll win the popular vote. I don't think he'll ever win the popular vote unless there are 10 candidates. But in this particular case, his problem is the Electoral College because his coalition isn't as strong as it once was, but it may be stronger than Kamala Harris's, which is all that matters.